transition is with us, and it's here to stay. Global economics, technological changes at the speed of light, and social values that are changing faster than any time in the past. To help guide you along your journey in this fast-changing life, the show with a purpose: to empower, to enlighten, to educate, and to entertain. The show that offers you a friend, a guide in the most transitional time in the history of the human race. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Steve Beaman.
Hello, my friends, and welcome once again to the Steve Beaman Show. It is my pleasure to be with you, as it is all the time. And this show is all about you, and Carol and I have worked so hard to put together a great show for you. As we go through this fast hour we're going to share with you, you're going to hear about everything we're doing in the community. You're going to hear about the most important news you need to hear in our Rubber Meets the Road segment. We're going to have Carol's ABCs of Wisdom at the bottom of the hour. And next half hour, we're going to have our Master Your Money segment, which is dedicated to helping you build a better path to prosperity. And of course, I am joined at the microphones with my wonderful and very special friend, Carol Parisi.
Hello, Steve. How are you today? This is outstanding. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, this is just a fabulous chance for us to share thoughts with people in a transformational time in human history. And everybody feels it. The question is, what do we do about it?
Well, let's go from a transitional to transformation. How does that sound?
Absolutely.
So, Steve, hey, listen, you know what? You've been out and about in the community, and what have you been doing with what you've been doing? I mean, I see something here called the American Dream, and before we talk about the American Dream, you are the American Dream. You are. As am I.
I'm gonna blush.
Well, don't blush, because here's the deal. You have come from meager beginnings, and you have created a legacy for yourself, pretty much. And let's have our listeners hear a little bit about what you have done and who Steve Beaman really is. Because what I know of Steve, he's a very integral, very kind gentleman. Steve is a gentleman beyond any gentleman I've ever met. Very articulate and fun. But what have you done with your life? Did you start out really rich?
First of all, thanks. We're not scripted on this program, so I want to appreciate your bringing that up. I am loath to talk about myself, but I will give you the 30-second background. I grew up in Indiana, and really, by the time I was in my late teens, started in sales, and I sold cookware and pots and pans door to door. A lot of fun that was. But I had built a very successful business enterprise by 23, and I thought I had the world by the tail. I thought, man, this is easy. Why do people stress so much about money? I then got involved in the stock market, and I got involved in a penny stock that had come out at 10 cents, which I didn't even know what that meant at the time, and gone up to 30 cents. And I thought, man, all you do is you buy these things, they go to $5, and boom, you're retired. Well, that ended up in a total disaster, and maybe sometime we'll share the story of it. But it put me at 23 years old with no college degree, broke, bankrupt, and almost living out of my car. I had moved from apartment to apartment because I kept getting kicked out. I made a decision, very consciously as I came through that, to learn everything I could learn. And I became a fanatic for lifelong learning. I also became a stockbroker, and I got my license with E.F. Hutton and Company. You may remember them. When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Mm-hmm. They ended up going out of business because they got some check kiting problems. But at any rate, so I became a stockbroker, and that kind of started the rest of my life. My business success culminated with the building and sale of Chicago Investment Analytics to Charles Schwab. I was very fortunate. By the time I was 39, I was retired, and then established a private equity company where I funded movies. I've done all kinds of stuff. And now here we are in the second half of life, and I've chosen to dedicate it to empowering people with the knowledge they need to transform their lives on what I've called the 5 paths to a transformed life.
The 5 paths to a transformed life. And you also have this wonderful book, The American Dream Under Fire. And, hey, let's talk about some of these things that you have here. This is your 5 paths to prosperity.
Yeah, I've written 400 to 500 articles at this point on emotional health, spiritual guidance, intellectual development, physical health, as well as financial help, because I know that those intersect, and I know that people in their lives If you're just in it for the money, well, that's a disaster. But if you don't have any money, that's a disaster too. Right. Also, and I'm convicted that a spiritual foundation is necessary to bring purpose. So these things all interrelate. And to your point, The American Dream Under Fire, this was written on a Sunday. Literally, I had a cocktail party Saturday night I went to, and a guy was making comments about the nation. And I thought, I don't agree with what he's saying. And he said to me, why don't you write a book? So I got mad. I woke up Sunday morning at 7 o'clock and I wrote the book. It was done by 9 o'clock that night.
Well, that's how you are. Yep. From what I know of you, Steve is a get it done kind of guy. There's no grass that grows under Steve's feet. He's like, he makes a decision on something and he sets off on his journey and he does it with passion, purpose, and phenomenalism, quite frankly, Steve.
You're overly kind, Carol. And by the way, I'll throw a little kudos your way. Carol is on this program with me because not only is she a terrific friend, but she has a lot of insights into living. She's a certified life coach, as well as, and you'll get to hear her later in the program. I am so excited about this. At the bottom of the hour every week, we're going to go through Carol's words of wisdom. And it's such a cool part of the program because every time since I've known you, you've got these little books and they go from A to Z on words that are empowering and enlightening and albeit entertaining. So I'm looking forward to hearing that today.
Well, those are foundational principles for the 5 paths of prosperity. All of those words fit right in. And I'm looking at some of your 5 paths, some writings here from your 5 paths of prosperity. Organized for success, happiness, how to deal with anger. Let's talk about self-esteem. And these are the great things we are going to be bringing to everyone every week to empower and enlighten all of our lives. I'm very excited. I know I'm going to learn something here.
I think we're all on a journey of learning. When we talk about the 5 paths, one of the things is there's a lot of weekend seminars that make you feel good and a lot of things that pump you up and get you excited. But what we're about here on the show is very much real help for real people. And if you want to learn more, we only have a limited time with you every week. But if you want to learn more, go to stevebeamanshow.com. We've got a beautiful website there. It contains all of our Beaman Minutes, all of the other content. And I know Carol and I post on there. We post to our Facebook page, The Steve Beaman Show. So visit that. There's a lot of ways to connect with us. And by the way, if you want to write to Carol, later in the show, we're going to talk about her shoes. I'm jumping the gun a bit. But when we do that, if you want to write to Carol, it's carol@stevebeamanshow.com.
Now, Steve, you were saying Facebook page, The Steve Beaman Show. They could just go on Facebook and they could look up The Steve Beaman Show and join our Facebook page.
I believe it shows up. I just did it and it shows up. So we'd love to have them fan the page and join us. And more than that, though, ask us questions.
Well, Steve, you offer so much content even on our Facebook page. You have your daily Beaman report, as well as being on Epic Times and all of these other Newsmax. You've been interviewed so much in the past years, and you have so much content out there, and it's rich.
I like to think it is. And to your point, I'm a regular on Newsmax television. They interview me normally about the economy. I'm on Red State Radio regularly about the economy. I'm in Denver, all over the country on radio. And we try to bring that out because, again, it's this notion of a healthy dialogue about serious issues. And people have asked always, why don't you guys do another news program or money program or political program? And it's because to us, we all need to be friends. And if we can be friends with our listeners, what more help can we be?
Well, trusted friends and counselors. And, we're talking about this American dream. And I am a child of an immigrant who came here from Italy during the time Mussolini was ruling. And they escaped all that to give that future of theirs, meaning me, their posterity, and my brother and my grandparents' children, the American dream. And it's a great thing. You come to this country with an idea of freedom and liberty and working hard and being able to achieve more than your parents did. Do you think your kids are going to be able to achieve more than you?
I bank on them achieving more than me, but it is more difficult today. We have a country that has transitioned into a more mature economy, a more established, certainly bigger government. In fact, in the Rubber Meets the Road, we're going to talk about the shadow cost of government. And it's stuff people don't know.
Ooh, that sounds kind of conspiracy.
Well,
the shadow cost of government.
These are things people need to know, so we're going to bring it to them. But yeah, I think, Carol, the reason your parents came here, my great-grandparents came here, is that we had a system of fluid economics in which you could start with nothing and become wealthy.
There was no caste system here. There was no caste system here. You could have whatever you set your mind to do as long as you work hard and be ethical.
That's right. And there was no royalty, so that you weren't born into your wealth. And that, to me, is the most important thing. But, folks, we really do have a show for you, and it's all about you. When we go through the Rubber Meets the Road news, this week we're talking about geopolitical, economic, and financial news. Next week we talked about health, wealth, and happiness news. So we're going to bring you the news you need to know to build a better life. And then we've got the ABCs of wisdom, which I am really looking forward to. This week's letter is A. I'll let the people think about what the word might be, but it's certainly an important word to my life and to Carol's life. And then we've got our listener email program as well as a Master Your Money segment. So we've got a lot going on. And folks, once again, we appreciate your joining the Steve Beaman Show.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
And now, back to the Steve Beaman Show with co-host Carol Parisi, taking you to where the rubber meets the road.
Welcome back, everybody, to the program. And this segment, which is so interesting, we are inundated with news. You guys hear so much, whether you listen to the talk radio stations or the television news, you're inundated with news. And what Carol and I thought about as we put the program together is developing for you something we call Rubber Meets the Road. And it's trying to find news that's important to you, whether it's economic, financial, health-related, wellness-related. We're going to try to bring you news every week that you didn't get somewhere else, but you really need to know.
Kind of like what's going on, right? Just like that song.
Exactly.
That's perfect.
That's right.
But hey, Steve, you know what? You were talking about the end of the dollar. That is something that we were discussing this week. And what do you mean by that?
Well, let's talk. This gets into the financial path people are on, and everybody's concerned about the reserve status of the U.S. dollar. And the Saudi Arabians came out recently threatening to dump $750 billion of U.S. assets because of a potential lawsuit from 9/11 victims. And it raises the issue of, will the dollar continue to be related to the oil economy? Or will the Chinese, the Russians, the Saudis be able to push the International Monetary Fund into a globalized basket of stocks rather than the U.S. currency? And, as you and I talk, and you've said to me, what does this matter to me?
Yeah, I was just going to say, as a wife and a mom and somebody who just doesn't know about petrodollars, unless what you tell me, what does this matter to me as a consumer, as an American citizen?
The biggest effect of having our dollar as this reserve currency is it keeps the cost of imports down, because we have a stable currency that oil, for example, is priced in. It helps our value so that your import prices are lower. If we lose reserve status, you'll see imported goods prices go up, specifically oil.
So that means my gas prices are going to go up again.
Your gas at the fuel pump goes up, and everything related to it.
So what's related to our fuel prices, would you say?
The shoes you buy, because they have to get shipped to the store.
They're going to charge me more for my shoes. Oh, my gosh.
We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, oil goes through the economy in food and clothing and the real things that touch people. So the concern is that we keep the dollar as an important component to that basket in the international markets. And it helps stabilize imports. And that's the big news. But don't buy into the conspiracies about it. There aren't conspiracies. What we have right now is a globe that's competing for this stuff.
So do you think we'll ever have a global currency? And will that put the American dollar beneath or at an even level of other currencies?
All right. Let me give you my email. It's steve@thestevebeamanshow.com, or excuse me, steve@stevebeamanshow.com. Drop the. And here's why I say that, because I'm going to get a lot of hate mail. I think it is almost inevitable that whether it's 100 years from now or 500 years from now, we will have a global currency. The markets are intertwined. If we go back 50 years, the United States was the dominant economy, and we shipped goods everywhere in the world. Now we're buying and selling goods back and forth at such rapid paces. We are a global single economy.
Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing as a consumer? As a consumer and as a taxpayer, is that good for us?
For a consumer, it certainly is a good thing. As a taxpayer, it doesn't really affect it, believe it or not. That's a separate issue. But I think it does get to a transition. For those of us who grew up in the Norman Rockwell America, It's a major transition. And I think what part of our goal in the program is to help walk people down that path to say, don't be afraid of it. Let's not necessarily embrace it, but let's not be afraid of it, and let's learn how to make money around it.
Now, that's a good thing. Make money to buy more shoes. Now, Steve, wait a second here. There was also something about the second quarter performance. What is that? Are we up or down?
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot with people on this show about the economy. It matters, folks. I mean, it really does matter. So if we look at the second quarter, and I just got off an interview with somebody somewhere talking about it, and made me think about it for this week. The economy right now is in a very stagnant mode. In the fourth quarter, we had just miserable performance. The first quarter, we kind of came up a bit to maybe a 2 to 2.5% growth rate.
But isn't that always common? Because the fourth quarter is the end of the year. The first quarter is the numbers from that last quarter, which includes Christmas.
Well, we thought the fourth quarter would be really strong, and the economics community was very surprised.
Okay, so fourth quarter is the whole to the end of the year, Christmas and everything else. Okay.
And it just didn't come in. So we're looking at the second quarter, which is kind of April, May, June, at continuing this 2 to 2.5% growth. And I know to some people that gets into wah. But it's important because when we talk about 2.5% growth, that means the jobs, especially middle-class jobs, are not being created. We need to get back to 4.5% growth.
Well, you were saying something that jobs are created at the upper end during this growth period. And what were you saying about the lower end?
We were having a conversation offline about that. And it was the fact that in this kind of stagnating economy, you do get jobs at the upper end because the innovators, the owners, they need people to operate, and there are jobs at the lower end. But the jobs in the middle, which is the bulk of what we want, are just not there.
Which is all most of who we are. And I learned so much from Steve offline. He's brilliant. He's got a plethora of knowledge, and it's amazing.
I didn't pay her to say that, and it is really humbling when you say things like that on the radio.
Well, it's truth. It's truth. Now, Steve, here we're talking about the unseen cost, that shadow cost of government. Exactly what is that?
Okay,
is that the 18 trillion or 19 trillion number?
That's not even a shadow. We all know the 19 trillion in debt, and it scares most. It should scare us. I mean, it's a real number.
So this has nothing to do with the debt.
No, this gets into one of the reasons that the economy isn't growing. And I think it's extremely important, and I hope that people on the left and the right can hear this stuff. This isn't a political statement. It's a statement of reality. It was released last week, and there are people who watch these things, but there are in aggregate something like 23,000 different forms businesses have to file in aggregate to operate in the United States.
How many for
23,000.
One business?
No, this is across all businesses.
Okay, so different like doctor's offices or any kind of different business. There's 23,000 different forms.
And the tragedy of that, I was in a discussion today with my trainer, and we were asking kind of what it does. If you look in the economy that we have now, there are no more small banks. They went out with Dodd-Frank because they can't afford the regulatory cost. If you go to small restaurants, they're more fewer and far between because they can't afford the regulatory cost. We look at recent changes in the Department of Labor on investment advisory. People in the middle with less than $500,000 to invest are going to find no advice, because the cost of regulation has made it impossible for small advisors to manage and help those people.
So we're crushing the small mom and pop entrepreneurial Americans.
And that's the core of the American dream under fire. What we are doing unintentionally, and I'm not going to say it's a conspiracy. It is certainly it's being done by more progressive government policy, but in trying to transfer from freedom to security in all levels of life, we're stagnating the economy, and it plays out at the mom and pop hardware store. Go to the Affordable Care Act. Walmart loved it, but they loved it because it put the small retailers out of business because they couldn't afford the regulations.
Well, how come we are regulating ourselves out of an economy? What is, and with all that, how much do those things cost? How much do you think that cost a small business? These 23,000 forms. Does it cost? I'm a business owner. Is it going to cost me more as a business owner to have that?
Well, you know as well as I do, you have to have accounting and legal help, and then you have to have other process help. It costs, depending on the business, but it can be $10,000 a year, $100,000 a year. It's very, very expensive. And small businesses don't have those margins.
Right.
I mean, I've been in business all my life, and especially small business, and I'm talking you're 5% maybe. And when you start to whittle away at that with all of these overhead bureaucratic costs, it just wipes you out.
And for me as a consumer, I'm not going to be able to take a walk down to my local small business mom and pop store because they're going to close.
That's right.
All those little restaurants, it's going to make my choices less.
It is. And again, this isn't a political show, and I'm not going to make a political statement. But when we look at candidates for local, state, federal offices, I hope if we want small business to survive, we'll vote for people who will cut regulation and allow small businesses to thrive. That is the core of the American economic dream.
Well, isn't the American dream a huge part of the economy? Isn't that a huge part of it? Because without, let's face it, money, you need money. You need money to eat. You need money for housing. You need money for clothes, especially shoes. You need money.
And you need a job. And 55% of all jobs are created by small businesses. So it's very important. Again, as we go through the Rubber Meets the Road segments every week, we're going to have different things. I think next week we talked about health and wealth and happiness.
I like that.
And so that's going to be kind of cool. But I'm excited because coming up is Carol's ABCs of Wisdom. And this is a part of the show in which we get to get some empowerment, some enlightenment, some excitement. And again, the letter is A. I'm going to let you think about what that word might be. And then don't forget, after that, we do have the Master Your Money segment coming up. So we want to make sure you stay with us for that. This is the Steve Beaman Show, and thank you for being with us.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Now, just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you. And they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel.
800-965-1297. 800-965-1297. 800-965-1297. That's 800-965-1297.
The Steve Beaman Show is about entertainment, that's for sure. But we're also about empowering you on a better path to your life. One of those issues, of course, is money. And the show does have a final segment devoted to becoming, a master of your money. This is a chance for me to share my 30 years of financial experience with you and help you understand things like how to get out of debt, how to use exchange-traded funds instead of mutual funds, even how to select an advisor. Each and every week, we break out the Master Your Money segment of the show and post it right here on the Steve Beaman Show site. You can come here and learn what you need to do to become a master of your money, and you can trust that you've got a friend in financial services. We just finished tax time, and I know, like me, many of you are thinking, wow, this gets more complicated every year. I'm Steve Beaman, and my friends at Greeby & Associates have been helping individuals and successful businesses for over 20 years. In construction, they say measure twice and cut once. In accounting, trust me, research and plan before you act. When you need powerful tax and accounting advice for you or for your business, contact Greeby & Associates at 630-653-3510. Visit Greeby & Associates.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the Tax Relief Line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Steve Beaman Show. You know, honestly, I was going to hold off on saying anything because I was enjoying the music. But we are now down at the bottom of the hour, which is a very exciting time where we're going to hear Carol's ABCs of wisdom. Carol, I gladly turn the microphone over to you.
Well, Steve, you know what? Since this is our premiere show here on The Answer, AM 560, I'm going to start with the letter A. And we've been promoting the letter A. And the first word we're going to choose for a life principle is attitude. Because, Steve, you know, it's been said, whatever a mind can conceive and believe, a mind can achieve. Our Creator gave us complete free will to choose any mental attitude we desire. Any mental attitude, Steve. And one of the most important and impactful steps you can take, I can take, we can take towards achieving our greatest and highest purpose is to learn how to monitor our attitude. You know, Steve, attitude is everything. And because it's everything, it governs the way we perceive the world and the way the world perceives us. We all have a choice. We can choose an inner dialogue of self-encouragement and self-motivation, or we can choose one of self-defeat and self-pity. It's power we all have. Each of us encounters hard times, hurt feelings, heartache, physical and emotional pain. The key is to realize it's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you choose to respond. It's your attitude that's going to empower you. Your mind is a computer and it can be programmed. You can choose whether the software installed is productive or unproductive. Your inner dialogue is that software that programs your attitude. So you have control. Whatever you put into is reflected of what comes out.
Carol, that was fabulous as I expected. I'm reminded of Chuck Swindoll when he said, the older I get, the more I recognize that life is only 10% what happens to me and 90% how I respond to it. Thank you. And every week I look forward to hearing that because it gives me a little inspiration for the week ahead.
Outstanding. Hey, Steve, how about having that letter from our Facebook friend, Nancy G. from Florida?
You know, folks, we love you to write us. We try to answer the emails. Again, it's carol@stevebeamanshow.com or steve@stevebeamanshow. Or go onto Facebook, become a fan of the page, and drop us a note. We'll try to respond as best we can.
Well, Steve, how do you want to read that letter or should I?
Why don't you go ahead?
Okay, Steve and Carol. I love your Facebook posts here. I think the Master of Money and the Beaman Report is awesome. I'm so excited to start hearing you guys on the radio. Why are you doing this show?
Oh, I love the question. It's actually a lot deeper than most people think. It's not for our health and not for our fun. But I think, Carol, you and I both share a belief that the world is in transition and people need that trusted friend. And so for Nancy down in Florida, our goal is to help her achieve her life goals, whether that's financial, emotional, spiritual. We're here for her. And I think this show is the part of an overall effort that you and I are going to put on all through the social media networks. We publish a lot of stuff. As I said, we've got 400 or 500 articles we can draw upon. But I think, as you agree, I want your 2 cents on this, but it is because we believe in this time of transition.
I believe in the time of transition, but I also know things are always in transition, Steve. And if our attitude is good and we think positive thoughts and take the right steps with the proper coaching and mentoring, we're all going to do better. It's kind of like a rising tides lifts all ships.
I love it because it's true. And, you know, when we look at the impact on people of an economy that's stagnant, of social mores and constant change, things that whether you're a parent today or if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're starting out and you're looking at all this stuff saying, how do I climb this mountain? We're here to help you climb the mountain.
Well, we're here to give you a hand up and some great ideas and a lot of experience. I mean, both of us have some life experience behind us.
Great deal. Hey, real quick, we got one other comment I'll let you kind of fuel. And it was from one of our Facebook people. And they said, why isn't this another political show or money show? Because obviously, real world, you touch on those things.
Well, why isn't it a political show? I think people have had politics ad nauseum. I think politics is not the... It's entertaining. It's been quite entertaining.
It's great
this
sport,
year.
right?
An economic show, I think there's some great ones out there, but does one affect the other, Steve?
Yeah, and to your point, I think there are good shows. Dave Ramsey puts on a really good show here on AM 560, The Answer. I think people should listen to that. It's Friday nights. It's a great program. But we're about life, and it's a little broader mission that we're on. We want to help people not just establish a good financial path, but establish a sound emotional path, spiritual path, physical path, and an intellectual understanding. Let's rebuild the joy of learning.
Well, the joy of learning. When knowledge was something that was important, you and I have discussed it at great length, our ancient philosophers and some of the wisdom that they gave to us.
It's true. And I think for those, you may be driving in your car right now coming back from your vacation home, and we'd love to have you listen to us every Sunday at 8 here on AM 560, The Answer. But I think as you listen to us, if we can hit a chord that says lifelong learning is something all of us should embrace. It's not a world anymore where you go get your graduate degree or your master's degree and you're done.
No, it's more important than that. It's empowerment too. And it's the constant empowerment every day, day by day, with these words of wisdom and the Beaman reports. Those are empowering.
We will try to keep all that going. When we turn around here, we're going to have the Master Your Money segment. This is our educational time. This is a time when we're going to come to you and we're going to teach you from my 30 years of financial experience. So we'll be right back with the Master Your Money segment. Don't miss that.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel.
800-965-1297. 800-965-1297. 800-965-1297. That's 800-965-1297.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Now, just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you. And they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474. 866-657-8474.
Now, back to the Steve Beaman Show for insight on your money and the nation's financial future.
Folks, welcome back. And I want to mention this segment of the show is sponsored by my good friend John Grebe at Grebe & Associates. You know, all of us need tax help, and we all need an accountant to help us manage all of this financial stuff. John has been a friend of mine for years, and he's a terrific resource. Give John a call at 630-653-3510. He's one of the sponsors of the program because of our friendship, and I welcome everybody to reach out to John.
What was that number again, Steve?
630-653-3510.
630-653
3510.
There you go.
And tell John that you're a friend of the show, and he'll help you out.
Well, now, Steve, we're talking about getting out of debt. A lot of people carry debt, but not all debt is bad. Why do I need to get out of debt? I pay my credit card bill every month. That's building my credit report. It shows that I can be in debt but pay it off. Why do I want to get out of debt, first of all?
I want to bring that back to where it really does have a rubber meets the road quality. It was Albert Einstein who said there's one miracle of the world, and it was compounding. Oh. Compounding money will work for you or it will work against you. You take your pick.
Oh, so it's a dual-edged sword kind of thing.
And it's wonderful to receive. It's really painful to pay. So the point of getting out of debt, especially consumer debt, is if you look at your cards, you're paying egregious interest rates, 20, 25%. That's a return on investment. If I said to you right now, you give me $100 and I'll give you a 25% return on your investment guaranteed.
Oh, where do I sign up?
Right. Well, that's what you do if you pay off your debt.
Really?
Because you're not paying 25% to the bank anymore. You're keeping that 25% for you.
It's 25%?
Or more. In fact, one of the things you and I have joked about is asking people how many months are in a year. I'll ask Mr. Producer here if you know how many months are in the year.
I think 12.
Well, see, there he goes. He's been raised in an American educational system that says there are 12 months in the year. But to a credit card company, nay. There are 13 months because they bill you on a 28-day billing cycle. It gives them 13 months of interest on your 12 months worth of life.
Which gives them a little more money.
It does. So as people understand compounding, it's important. And what I want to do in the short time we have available is I want to synthesize down the programs that cost thousands of dollars into the way they do it.
Okay, how do I pay off my debt?
Okay, there's something that they'll all teach called the accelerator method. And what they're basically doing is saying if on your current income, you're paying $600 a month in debt, what they want you to do is take that $600 and fix it as an amount in your budget. So every month you're going to spend $600 on debt payments.
Okay.
But you then rank your debts by smallest to largest.
Okay.
And as you pay off the small one, rather than reducing the $600 down, keep it where it is and use that money to pay off the next smallest.
So you pay it off and you don't use it anymore.
And you start paying them off, smallest to largest. And before you know it, you will be out of consumer debt.
So is consumer debt the only bad debt? Or, I mean, what about a car payment, a house payment, a shoe payment?
These are, if you're going to watch, and by the way, visit SteveBeamanShow.com. We're going to have video of this program up there, and you'll get to see Carol's shoes. She always surprises us. But yeah, you and so many other people love to spend money on things. I believe debt is dangerous when you buy into a depreciating asset. Because you're not only losing money on your interest charge, but you're losing money on the value of the material thing that you acquired.
So what you told me once that my shoes that I pay X amount of dollars for are costing me more than that.
I won't get into my personal life, but you wonder why I don't date. I'm sitting out at dinner and I'm looking at a $100 bill and the concept of it. And I'm going, no. That's not a $100 bill. That's a $1,000 bill.
Oh, come on. How come?
So we go shopping. You say, Steve, these are $200 shoes. I say, no, they're $2,000 shoes.
No way. There's no way.
Because if I invest the $200 over a long enough period of time at a reasonable rate, that's $2,000 you could have had put in your nest.
Yeah, but you need the shoes. You can't go barefoot.
I choked when I said that
I
because I thought you were going to throw something at me. But to your point, you need certain things. We all recognize that. But as we redefine want and need, I think as we go in an economy that's in such transition, again, you folks know of our $19 trillion debts, of our $1 trillion in student loans, things could get pretty dicey out there. And the way to overcome it is to become a capitalist. Save capital, learn how to properly invest it. In fact, we're sponsored by the Society to Advance Financial Education. You can visit them at savefinancial.org. They are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization devoted to both promoting and providing financial education, so you have a friend in finance.
I am a member of SAFE, and I have to say that the information there is staggering. People will learn so much. You will learn so much, folks, if you just go to SAFE. Safefinancial.org, correct, Steve?
Yeah, and I am somewhat familiar with it as I'm chairman of the company. So
well, I know.
I have a little vested interest here. Not financially. I don't draw salary from it, but I have an interest in building a nation of millionaires. And I think it's possible for all of us.
Well, you and I have talked. You have a very big goal. What is want to build a nation of millionaires, but you were very specific in a number of millionaires that you wanted to help
the society
build.
wants to build 75,000 millionaires. And so for the people listening, we hope they'll be one of them.
Well, that's what I'm in for. I like that. It's nothing wrong with being a millionaire.
There's not. It's not an answer to everything because, again, money in a vacuum isn't what you want to have. But I'd rather have it than not. I mean, I've been poor in my life and I've been wealthy. It's better to be wealthy. You don't have to think about the things you do. But we want to show people that how you save your money, how you invest your money can take you home.
Well, that's outstanding. And The American Dream Under Fire. Where can I get this book?
Oh, it's up on Amazon. So you can go to Amazon and search it and it's there. It's a daily read. It's 120 pages or something. But I think it covers much of what's transitioned in our country.
Well, maybe we can get a few copies and give them away next week.
You know what? If you come up with a program, have people write you at Carol@Steve Beaman Show, and we'll give anybody who writes you a note a free copy of the book.
Oh.
And when we come back, we are going to show you what's going on next week on the show, so we want you to stay with us. We've got some exciting things happening, and we are just here for you. And again, thank you for joining us here on this edition of the Steve Beaman Show. The Steve Beaman Show is about entertainment, that's for sure. But we're also about empowering you on a better path to your life. One of those issues, of course, is money. And the show does have a final segment devoted to becoming, a master of your money. This is a chance for me to share my 30 years of financial experience with you and help you understand things like how to get out of debt, how to use exchange-traded funds instead of mutual funds, even how to select an advisor. Each and every week, we break out the Master Your Money segment of the show and post it right here on the Steve Beaman Show site. You can come here and learn what you need to do to become a master of your money, and you can trust that you've got a friend in financial services.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a four-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychecks right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel.
800-965-1297. 800-965-1297. 800-965-1297. That's 800-965-1297.
Welcome back to the Steve Beaman Show. Boy, Steve, that hour seems like it zipped by here on WIND, The Answer for AM 560.
You know, it's funny. I think there's another radio host who talks about the fastest hour in broadcast media.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but for me, this was the fastest hour in broadcast media.
Went by pretty quick.
It did. And, you know, this week, I think you get a sense for the kind of impact we want to have on people, whether it's the rubber meets the road or the ABCs of wisdom. It's a comprehensive show. It really is. And it's designed, you know, on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock, you're in your car, you're coming home from your weekend getaways, or you're at home kind of thinking of the week ahead. We hope that the show can give you a little bit of uplifting.
Little positive and encouraging words and some wisdom. And Steve, now the email that people can contact us to ask questions, because we love to read our listener mail. Our friends need to contact us with questions.
Yeah, they can write you at carol@stevebeamanshow.com or me at steve@stevebeamanshow.com. And to your point, folks, the show is going to be much more interactive. We're talking about in the future having daily call-in capability, not on a radio program, but on a webinar. So you can get private answers to private questions that relate to your money or your family. Obviously, visit the Society to Advance Financial Education at savefinancial.org. It's got a lot there to help you on the money side. John Grebe, our sponsor in the accounting side, he's got tons of information for people. They can get on his mailing list for free, and they'll really learn a lot. And if we're about entertainment, certainly we don't want to lose listeners, but we're also about education.
Steve, they can go to the stevebeaman.com, right?
stevebeamanshow.com.
stevebeamanshow.com, and there's a ton of information there. And you're going to have our show segments
we
there.
We have videos of this. We spin out the Master Your Money part into its own little podcast. So you've got easy access and, you know, real comfortable access. We are out on Red State Radio as well. So we're taking the program as national as we can. There's just a lot we want to do to help folks really do better in a time of transition. I mean, we keep saying it, but it's true.
It's true. Well, friends, too, I am a certified personal trainer, certified life coach. I've done a ton of counseling. You could reach me at Carol at stevebeaman.com.
Steve Beaman Show.
stevebeamanshow.com. And if you have any questions, I would love to help and serve you, because we're here to serve our listening audience. That's what we're here to do, our friends.
Absolutely. And next week, when you come back and join us, we're going to be on a special Mother's Day tribute. You know, I obviously wasn't a mother in my life, but I had one I loved dearly. And Carol, you are a mother.
I'm a mama.
So
yes,
we're going to
am.
bring a mom's perspective to the show. And so the Rubber Meets the Road news will be geared toward that. The ABCs of Wisdom will be geared toward that. And we're going to do what we can to give moms a little bit of positivity in their life.
Well, I think sometimes those kids are enough, and sometimes those kids take a little bit of work to get us a little negative.
I know that we're talking privately here, so you know I have 6 kids. So
yes, Steve has 6 children, and they're all awesome. They're so well behaved. They're so kind. They're smart. They help each other. But that's a lot of kudos to you and your parenting skills, Steve.
It takes a lot, and I give my Lord the first credit, and then I take a little bit. But yeah, my kids are fine, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. So we got a great show next week. And again, during the week, you can visit us at stevebeamanshow.com. I am on the news with Newsmax. I'm on the radio constantly. I publish with Epic Times. All of that stuff is available for you at the site.
And Facebook. Well, this is exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone next week.
Yeah, and the biggest question I have for folks, if they'd write in, what do you think of our logo? We have a new logo that was designed for us. I'd love to get everybody's thoughts on what the logo is, because I hear interesting stuff. I don't want to go into it, but
I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say a word.
It's been a lot of fun. But folks, we're glad you stayed with us tonight, and we're excited going forward to get to know you and for you to get to know us. And to be able to be your friend. And Carol, I think you used the phrase trusted friend.
Trusted friend. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll be looking forward to hearing you, or you hearing us, and you working with us next week.
Yeah, we are excited. So, folks, have a wonderful week ahead. God bless all of you. And thanks once again for joining us here on the Steve Beaman Show.